hey, I haven't practiced, I haven't practiced this. I need to rehearse it. And so when I rehearse it, then it won't, it won't, I have experienced it because I rehearsed it and I saw it in my head. So by the time I really do it in real life, it's not going to be such a bad deal for me, you know? Because when you don't do that, that's why people get nervous. That's why they say stupid stuff and don't do things that they should have done. You know, I carry these index cards around with me all the time, and they're objections. And when I hear something new, I'll write it down on an index card again, and I'll take it along with me, and I'll rehearse that. So when they say whatever that thing is again, now I have something to tell them. You know? Yeah. But you don't, if you write it down once, you're going to forget it. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, again, you better not forget it, because that means you're not being professional. Because, yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. Yeah. I like I'm writing a blog right now, but again, that's a sign that you're not a professional. A professional, if you were an actor, you wouldn't practice your script for a couple of weeks and then stop doing it. You would practice this thing every single day until it's time to go play that part for that movie. Well, the same thing in this. We are actors. I've told people this a lot of times throughout the years. I am not a salesperson. I am an actor playing the part of a salesperson. And when I was married, my wife would say, "You're talking so loud. Why are you talking so loud?" Because it's not that I was a different person, but I had to put on this other hat and become this other person to fulfill what I needed to fulfill for to service the people who I'm working with. But I have this, what I was starting to say, I have this blog post that I've been writing, and it's called Ambition versus Drive. And the reason that people join home-based businesses or get started in a lot of these mind-making ones, just because let's say you start a gas station, doesn't mean you're ambitious. You just want to provide for your family. But, people who are reading, the books of Napoleon Hill and stuff like that, they're ambitious people, right? And that's where a lot of these people stop. Because the thing, and this is what this conversation is about, is the thing that you have not mastered is drive yet. And what I mean by that, you're not a millionaire. Or have been. Okay. No, you have ambition. There's difference. Huh? No, you have ambition. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you had it in the past. When you were doing, yes. Yeah, you shouldn't need a chemical to sustain you. No, yeah, but yeah. Um, Occasionally it's good for you. It's good and it's bad. So is wine. But drinking 7 glasses of wine every day is not going to do you any good. That's bad for you. And antioxidants are good for you and all that stuff. And the fizz of the wine, if you're sick, it helps you with your stomach. It's what wine is good for, but it's not good for your brain. So coffee is good for you, but it's not good for your brain, and there's other things that it does too. It short waves your brain after a while. Uh, Ben Green, what's his name? I forget. Uh, Triathlon. That's what he said. But if you have ambition, and this is what this means. Ambition is that you have dreams and plans of where you'd like to go. Drive is what you're doing. So if you are not exposing 200 to 300 people a day to your message, you have not mastered drive. That's ambition. And again, this is why I'm recording my workday. And I just actually just a couple minutes ago I just turned on my camera, and as I'm walking around my room I'm filming this. and but because I want to show people that I have also mastered drive. I've been a very ambitious person for a very long time, but I have not mastered drive. I've been ambitious. I'll say I've been ambitious for 20 years. And even when I was in my first quote unquote, let's say business, was in kindergarten. And I was, I draw, and I've told you a lot about that stuff, but I would draw superheroes. And I would sell it to my classmates. And then even when I was in high school, I worked at a corner store, stocking the beer shelves and stuff like that, and returning cans when they brought them in to recycle. But at school again, I was drawing pictures of Michael Jordan, and people wanted those pictures from me. And I'd sell them for $10 a pop, And I won't say I was ambitious then, but that was where the start of it came from. But I come from a long line of very successful entrepreneurs. Like I told you, my great aunt, she invented Cheetos, died with $60 million. So, but she also figured out the drive is the other thing. She lost her ambition because she didn't need to. Hey, I got plenty of money to live the rest of my life. The only thing that she did is, she was ambitious because she took her money and made wise investments and grew her money to have $60 million when she died. She was, but she didn't need to be ambitious anymore, for her lifestyle, at least, Yeah, if she wanted to, she was like 28 years old when she sold her company, But if she wanted to, she's like, okay, I got some more money. Let's go start another business. I'll go sell that one too. She didn't want it, but her one husband, they even had their own jet back in the 60s. That's crazy, you know? By selling chips, snack food trucks. That's funny. But that's that's why because knowing what something is very important. And so, yeah, I'm driven. And I used to think, during that time, I thought I was driven. No, I wasn't. I was ambitious. I had a great vision for my future, but I was not talking to all the people who I should have in order to accomplish that. And we are so screwed up, and I'm really understanding that now. And again, that's something that majority of these success gurus don't talk about. They just teach you how to make money. Again, Grant Cardone, one of the things that he says, his most asked question is, how do I become self-motivated? And in his response is, your dreams should be enough to motivate you. And it is for him. But he doesn't understand the psychology and the way the brain works to help somebody else do that. He knows enough, and his traumas and his dad died like when he was 8, and he saw the dream home that they had and his life stripped away from him, got on drugs, all this nasty stuff, right? And that gave him enough pain to push through that. And even with me, I this whole law of attraction thing. Oh, you need to feel good, and that is part of it. You do need, on some cases, you do need to feel good. But when you listen, Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank says that she does real estate, so her average salesperson makes $40,000 a year, and she says the difference between her bottom salesperson or her average making $40,000 and her top one making $8 million is, you got to have something to prove. So is there something that somebody that you want to prove wrong? Is there something that pisses you off? I'm going to say no, because it's taking you too long. No, because that has nothing to do with pissing somebody off. If I come over and I slap you in the face, I'm going to piss you off. Just because you say you're a confident person does not mean that you're not going to get pissed off. People talk behind your back, whatever it is. Because there's two ways, there's only two ways to be successful. And all the people who are successful, this is what they have in common. Number one, they have high doses of serotonin. And that serotonin means that you feel good all the time. You ever watch videos of Will Smith? Not movies, like interviews. He's happy. He's excited about life all the time, right? High doses of serotonin. Okay? Yeah. And that you're just optimistic and happy about everything. But, those who don't have that privilege, and when I say privilege, that doesn't mean that he hasn't had hard trials, or it just means that his brain has high doses of serotonin, and good success, we've all heard success breeds success. So if you are successful, you have a dose of serotonin. And when you are successful again, you even have more serotonin. And the more success and the more success and the more success, that's why people become billionaires. That's why, a failure is somebody who's poor, overweight, and they have a bad relationship. Their family relationships are bad. Okay? They have optopamine, what's called as optopamine. Okay? Now, on the reverse hand, successful people are successful financially. They're successful in their marriage. Their health, there's an article. It's one of my favorite articles. It came out in a Men's Health magazine in September of 2008. And it showed that the average, that if you make $101,000 a year, okay, you will outlive anybody from 0 to $100,000 a year. So basically, the top 10% of income earners, if you're in the top 10% of income earners at that time, you would outlive the bottom 90% by an average of 12 years. Again, because these chemicals that are going off in your brain. Okay? Now, if you don't have that, the only other way that you can be successful is you got to get pissed off. And the law of attraction, people, that movement has done a lot of disservice to a lot of people. Because, I'm supposed to feel good. I'm supposed to feel good. Yeah, once you are successful, and you can manufacture serotonin by your thoughts. That's part of it too. Like, I'm writing out the script. Like, just before you called me, I was going to go make some more phone calls, and I was making some adjustments to my script, and I read it, and I was getting excited, and I saw a positive future, and so I could feel my serotonin, increasing, but it's always short-lived, you always have to change that. So what drives me to get on the telephone is the people who that I want to get back at. Again, before I get on the phone every morning, I will go through Tim Grover's book, Relentless, and that gets me pissed off state. And you don't become successful being happy. You become successful being pissed off. And then but now when you start getting results, now you start getting happy, and now you don't have to be pissed off anymore. So it's not that you indefinitely have to be pissed off, and eventually you're just so happy, and because now your money's right, and then your health is right, and then your relationships are right, and life is pretty much good all around once you can do that. But being pissed off is one of the first stages. And again, that's a thing that most of the gurus do not talk about. And one of yeah. No, don't think. Well, yes and no. You think the being pissed off is what gives you the strength, because I know you're a big fan of Shark Tank, and you have to go through these interviews that each one of these guys have done, and you'll have to go through 1,000 interviews, and every 25 interviews that you'll watch, and they will throw out this nugget, and it's not about the business, because there's plenty of gurus that will teach you about the business again. What it is these golden nuggets of who you have to become. So I was watching one with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, talking about why you have to be ruthless in business. And they present him in a certain way, but that was more, the title of Ruthless was clickbaity. That's why it was in there. But this was an interesting fact. So he did what do they call that? But basically an analysis of all the companies that he's invested in, right? And he looked at what do all the companies that are, the ones who are making money, what do they all have in common? You know? And across the board, with no exception, all his profitable companies that he has invested in are women. And he wanted to know why. And he had this like event and where the guys got in and the women got in and it was like this networking group with all the companies he's investing in trying to figure it out. Well, just because, now, of course he's a guy and he's the one who invested in them and he's way more successful than all of them. But these women were successful, and and I'm not even done watching the video. It's like a half hour long. So he's breaking down what are the not the things that they're doing, but the characteristics of what these women entrepreneurs are doing that makes them so successful. And one of the things is having realistic goals. And all these guys, one of the things that he was talking about is all these guys, oh yeah, but we got this long future and we're going down the road sometime and we're going to be successful someday. And you want to have long-term goals. Absolutely. However, you got to have a short-term goal too. And the women, and this is how he was coaching both of them. The women had a bigger short-term goal and not so much of a long-term goal. But that's what made them successful in the short term. So, get a short-term goal and have a long-term goal. And again, what am I talking to you about now? How many people are you going to expose on a daily basis? It's a short-term goal. And when I make phone calls, my brain is so, getting on the phone is stressful. It just is. The number one fear that people have is public speaking. And the same fears that you have with public speaking is why people resist the telephone. Same issue. So, I have a level of anxiety when I get on the phone too. However, what I do is I look at a 10-minute time frame. That's it. I'm going to make so I have this little chart and I write down when I make a phone call, slash. I made 10 phone calls. Accomplish that, number one. Do that 5 times, because there's 50, 60, or there's 60 minutes in an hour, so I'll probably accomplish 50 phone calls in that hour, So now I look at 1 hour at a time. Now, I got to do that. So my first thing is I look at a 10-minute time frame. The next thing I do is I look at, I'm going to get 20 leads in a day. Then, once I get those 20 leads, I'm also going to put 10 people on my follow-up list. Now, out of those 20 people, I'm going to call people and they're like, hey, I'm not interested. Oh, this isn't going to work for me. They're going to have some excuse. Maybe I don't want to work with them because they have a poverty mindset. Something's going to happen. But I want to have 10 people on that day on my follow-up list. An additional 10 people. Those 10 people, now over the next 3 or 4 days, is going to turn into 1 sale. So you got to break it down, Well, I again, there's a difference from knowing and doing, and that's what I'm trying to get you to do. Yeah. So what is this software? So, and what does it do? So are you going to do pay per click? So are you spending money in advertising with this then? So why do you need a software with that? Because that's just a simple YouTube thing. Or you can do that on Facebook or Periscope. Why do you need one of this complicated software that you're having trouble figuring out? Yeah, a landing page. You mean like a landing page? Well, that's the same thing. ClickFunnels? That is a capture page. Well, it is more, but that's the first stage. You capture a lead, and then you put people, yeah, then you put people through a funnel with that. But it is the same thing. Oh yeah, you got to stretch. I stretch. I stretch. Oh yeah. But again, I'm running 5 to 8 miles a day. So if you don't, you get a sciatica. Pulls your sciatic nerve as if you don't do that. Yeah, yeah. My last marathon I ran, and before it was like a couple weeks before I got a sciatic. I pulled a sciatic nerve, and so I had to really do some stretching to get that pulled out in time. No, it won't kill you, but it hurts. You just won't be able to like you won't be able to bend over or depends on where it is and the severity of it. Like I pulled my back a couple weeks ago and it lasted for a while and I couldn't bend down to touch my toes. But I kept on stretching. Every day I was stretching. No, I stretched for like 10 minutes. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Sounds good, Joe. Okay. Sounds good. Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Yep. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.